Lessons I'm learning in my 40s. 40 lessons I'm learning in my 40s. Read a great book the other day. I'm reading a great book, really, the other day. And what happens in this book here is there's a chapter called 40 Things I Wish I'd Known at 40. And the book is by Robin Sharma. It's called Everyday Hero. I picked the book up because of this, actually. I saw this somewhere on the internet. I had to put it into ChatGPT to figure out where was this from. I bought the book specifically for this chapter because it resonated with me so much. And I want to share that with you. I'm going to take the next month and a half and I'm going to share with you the 40 things that I'm learning in my 40s. And it's based off of some of Robin Sharma's points here that I think are so fitting and so interesting to get a look at it. And there's a lot of wisdom here, right? Like there's a seasoning that happens with life. There's a seasoning that happens in leadership. You know, people get older, but they don't necessarily get better. People get older, but they don't necessarily grow. Growth and improvement comes from evaluated experiences, right? So I'm going to go through something and then I'm going to learn from that thing. I'm going to become more, I'm going to take a piece of that experience with me. And now I'm going to be able to apply that to other situations in life to live more successfully. And there's great wisdom in that. And so I hope that over the next month and a half that I can share with you some of the wisest things that I've learned over my 41 years on the planet Earth. I hope that you can learn from some of my losses. You can learn from some of my lessons. We can celebrate some victories together. And so I want to give you lesson number 2, 40 things I'm learning in my 40s. Number 2, that getting super fit would multiply my creativity, productivity, and prosperity considerably. So let me break that down again. So what he's saying is that getting super fit, didn't say in shape, he said super fit. Getting super fit would multiply. He didn't say add, he didn't say improve. He said would multiply my creativity, what I'm able to come up with, my productivity, how much I'm able to get done, and my prosperity, the end result of those things, the creativity and the productivity, bringing prosperity. And it does it considerably, not a little bit more, a lot more. And so I want to share this with you from 2 perspectives, one as my 41-year-old self, okay, and one 10 years earlier. And I want to start with you 10 years earlier. 10 years ago, I was about 35 to 40 pounds heavier than I am now. I was pretty overweight. I didn't feel very well. My levels, my biomarkers were not strong. I was really tired all the time. I was like pretty irritable. I didn't like the way that I looked. I was sort of embarrassed by how I looked, how I felt. There was a lot of things that I couldn't keep up with, that I couldn't do very well. There was things that I enjoyed doing that like I would put off or maybe not find enjoyment in doing so much just because I wasn't in shape to enjoy those things. And there was a client of mine at the time. He owned a couple of gyms in Michigan, and he ran this challenge. And come to find out, it was actually one of Alex Hormozi's first gym launch clients. And they launched this like viral marketing challenge. It was all over Facebook at the time. And what their pitch was, you come to their gym, you plug into their program for 6 weeks, a 6-week program. If you don't lose 20 pounds, in that time, then you just got what you got. But if you lost 20 pounds in the 6 weeks following their program, they'd actually give you your money back. It was like $500. So you pay $500, you go into this program, this 6-week program. It was a couple of personal training sessions a week, 3 group training sessions a week, a diet plan. And if you lost 20 pounds in that 6 weeks, you could get your $500 back. And the only other rule was you had to post on Facebook every time you were at the gym, right? So that's 5 times a week times 6 weeks, 30 times. It was a brilliant marketing idea, right? You have all these people posting about your gym 30 times in 6 weeks and showing people this verifiable progress, and their gyms just exploded. It was really good. So anyways, I decided that I was going to go do that. And so I did that. I actually lost 26 pounds in that 6-week period of time. And it taught me a couple of principles about myself and about fitness that all these years later, I've kept that off. I never put back on more than 10 or 11 of those pounds. And today I sit here in literally the best shape of my life, like have abs that like you can see. It's pretty crazy. I'm 41. I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm the leanest that I've ever been. I feel the best. My levels are incredible. And so here's what was interesting though. When I started that process 10 years ago, I was making about 300 grand a year. I was very, very busy. I was busy, but not as productive as I could have been. I ended up having to go at like 5 in the morning to these gym sessions. There was no other time. Okay. Fast forward 18 months after losing that weight, I was making over $1 million a year. And what I learned about getting super fit was that fitness is a trigger habit. For me and for many, many people, fitness is a trigger habit. It's a habit that when we start valuing ourselves, when we start caring about our body, when we start prioritizing our health, the changes that start happening in our decision making process are really, really profound. And so what I found was, as I stayed on my health habits, especially early in the morning, because I was doing them early in the morning, I was getting an early win. I was making meaningful progress. I was doing things that deposited into my own well-being. Like just that time alone, doing hard work to improve yourself. There's a self-confidence that comes from that. And I'm going to get to this in a second. I'm going to do it now. Okay. Here's what I found about fitness. Fitness is earned, not given. Okay. And it's worked for, not purchased. In other words, nobody can give you a head start there. You might have better genes than somebody else, but look, we've all seen those people. You know those people. The kids that had good genes in high school, they were super popular, they had great bodies. You see them today and you're like, dear Lord Jesus, what happened to you? Right? It's like 50 Cent. In high school, you was the man, homie. Right? Okay. Well, I don't know what occurred in this 25 years, but it wasn't good. Type it wasn't good in the comments if you're watching. So we all know those people. Like genetics might help you for a little while, but I saw this the other day. It said when you turn 40, you can tell who has been taking care of themselves for the last 10 years and who hasn't. That's when it starts to catch up to you. And what I found was, by doing something that you had to earn, the only way that you could have the result is to put in the work. The only way you can get the result is through the discipline. The only way that you can get the result is through the mental conditioning, through the positive belief and self-image that you have. That trigger habit and that thing of earning my way there, it created momentum in all the other habits in my life. It's like, well, hey, I value myself enough to be up early. I value myself enough to say no to the things I want now for the things I want most. I value myself enough to invest this time and effort and energy. I value myself enough to do this hard thing. Well, why wouldn't I just do the next hard thing? And the thing after that, why wouldn't I have that same value? And so what I found was, by getting serious about fitness, as a byproduct, I became more serious about business. I became more serious about family. I became more serious about self-improvement. For me, it was a trigger habit. It was the one habit that unlocked the other habits. And a lot of people, they look at and they're struggling and they're stuck and they start and stop and they get momentum and they lose momentum. And then they just like can't really figure out why. Like, why do I keep starting, stopping? Why do I keep losing this? And yet they just don't really treat themselves well physically. And here's the deal, y'all. That's the only body you got. That's like that's your earth car for like the rest of your life, right? And so like, why wouldn't you take care of it? You only get one. The way with which you take care of that is going to determine how long you get to play the game, right? And like how enjoyable that game is going to be. If that's true, and it is, like, why wouldn't we take better care of that? Why wouldn't we want to honor that? Why wouldn't we do the things to ensure that like we get the most use out of it? We have the least problems with it, that we have the most enjoyable and the longest experience with it, right? Like that would make sense. And so like people who don't value fitness, people who are not investing in that, there's like a big disconnect there for them, right? And that same logical disconnect that says like, hey, like this is attached to me forever. Like I gotta live in this environment. And like, I don't want to live in a polluted environment. I don't want to live in an environment that isn't appealing to me. I don't want to live in an environment I'm unhappy with or is unhealthy. Like that same, like that's really logical, right? That same inability to have that like really clear logical connection with our health, then like transmutes into business. Like, here's the things I need to be doing, but I'm like not going to do those things. I'm just waste all my time on other things I like better, but don't really make a difference, right? Like, it's the same like inability to connect the dots between cause and effect. Same thing like with relationships. Like, ooh, I know that like when I'm in this way, these things don't go well, but I'm going to do me. And it's really interesting. And so the trigger habit nature of getting fit, the fact that you can't buy it, it has to be earned. You can't cheat your way there. You can't fake it. You have it or you don't, right? So like that idea then begins to permeate into every area of life. And so that's what he's saying. He's like, that getting super fit would multiply my creativity, my productivity, and my prosperity considerably, right? And there's like all sorts of like brain body connection that we could talk about. I'm not a scientist. I don't have enough education in that to like speak knowledgeably on it. But what I do know is this is like, when your operating system is operating optimally, when it's functioning really, really well, that doesn't just deal with your physicality. It also deals with your clarity, with your ability to understand and connect and communicate, even just your energy to give your best to the people who are around you. Like, for a long time, I didn't give my best to the people I cared about most. If I'm being honest with you, like they sort of got the leftovers, right? Because that's all I had to give them, because I wasn't taking care of myself, right? And so when I did that, when I got fit, all the other things in my life started to come together. And the other thing that I'm going to tell you here about like why I think this is so important here, like I'm going to give you two things. One is like reversing aging. So like our bodies, God did not make our bodies get healthier as life goes on, right? Like, that's just not how it works. And so like eventually, like your DNA, reproduction, all that, it starts to like not copy as well. Like your cells just get tired, right? Okay. And like that's an inevitability for all of us. I'm not like one of these health nuts that like thinks I can live forever. It's never going to happen, right? Okay. What I'm trying to do is optimize the life I have by optimizing the body that I'm in. Okay. But think about this, like if you're going to start losing muscle mass in your 50s and 60s, like it's just unavoidable. Like, no matter what you do, that's going to happen. You're going to have some degradation. Well, I would rather start losing from this level than this level, right? Because I could lose for 2 decades before I get back to the level where most people are starting their loss from. So again, it keeps you optimized much, much longer in the life. And that's the cheat code, right? Like, if I have 10 extra years on the planet than you, like, how do I not beat you in so many ways, right? Like I had an extra decade to live and to laugh and to enjoy and to impart and to make investments into people and to be significant and to have an impact. Like, that's important, right? But here's the most important thing that I found about this statement, that getting super fit would multiply my creativity, productivity, and prosperity considerably. Ultimately, how you treat your health, how you treat your body, how you treat your environment says more about you, okay, and how you value yourself and what you believe about yourself than anything else, okay? So what you'll learn in leadership, this is a free nugget here from 41 years of wisdom, is that it doesn't matter what people say. It only matters what people do. People are great liars. People are great at saying the things they think you want to hear. They're fantastic manipulators. If I say this, I can get off the hook with that, right? That's like the nice versions. There are people who then know they're doing that and like will do that to you on purpose. Okay. And so that because you can't buy physical health, because you can't cheat it, because you can't fake it, and it has to be done by you, and it's done as a byproduct of a right belief system about the value of the earth car that we're in called our body and the value that we have. Like, when people ignore that or neglect it, they're really ignoring and neglecting their own value, right? They're really ignoring and neglecting their own their own potential, their own capacities, their own callings, right? And so here's the truth, you all, and I know this is a hard truth, okay? And again, like, and I'm not talking about people who cheat their way there, right? Like you see all this Ozempic stuff, right? All these people taking this thing, and now they got all these memory issues and these blood issues and all these neurological challenges. Like, I'm not talking about cheating your way there, right? That's, you can't fake it. You can for a while, but it's going to come get you. I'm talking about the people who are really doing that work. When I find somebody who's doing that work, I know I don't need to know you to know you. I know that you value yourself at some level enough to take care of the body that you're living in. I know that you are disciplined enough to do things that you'd probably rather not do. So I can know a lot about you just by the shape that you hold yourself into, the standard of physicality that you allow in your life. I can learn a lot about you. And you say, well, that's judging a book by its cover. No and yes, that's judging a tree by its fruit. Fair enough. Okay. Not judging a book by its cover, it's judging the tree by its fruit, right? Because y'all, listen, that cover didn't just get there. That fruit's been growing on that tree for a long time, right? That's a book cover is instantaneous. The fruit is about pattern and choices, right? That's what fruit's about. And so we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we are called to judge a tree by its fruit. Right. I didn't say that. That's God. You don't like that one. Don't get at me in the comments and give me your 2 cents. Take that up with the Lord. He's got an open ear. He's ready to hear from you on that, my friend. Right. So it says a lot about how we value ourselves. Right. And here's the deal, y'all. If you don't value you, you shouldn't expect other people to value you. Right. If you won't invest in you, you shouldn't expect other people to invest in you. Okay, if you don't trust you, you shouldn't expect other people to trust you. And listen, productivity, prosperity, creativity, those are all positive things that come from a positive state and a positive environment. And it's hard to have positive outcomes from a negative environment and a negative situation, right? Okay, and so our physicality says a lot about us. And the fact of the matter is, I just wasn't happy with me, and I didn't value me at the way that I should have. And I didn't take myself seriously, and I thought life was just sort of a joke. I could do what I want, and it wasn't going to affect me before I got in good shape, right? And I had to humble myself, and I had to learn, Ian, that's not true. That's not true. You're not going to outrun life, and what you do daily is going to create the life that you're going to live. And so, if you could pick the life that you want to live, and you can, and you could design it any way that you want, and you can, then why not pick a life you love and then do the things daily to go get it? And fitness for me was that trigger habit that unlocked all the other habits. Still today, it's the first thing that I do. It's the first thing that I'm doing every single day is I'm taking care of my body. I'm taking care of my physical health. I'm taking care of my state. I'm taking care of my mental capacities and optimizing the body that I live in so that I have the maximum amount of energy, that I feel the best that I can feel about me, that I have the most self-confidence that I'm capable of having, and that I'm ultimately getting wins early in the day, every single day. And that cascades into a series of other wins. And so I just want to challenge you today as I'm sharing with you 40 lessons that I'm learning in my 40s. Your health matters. Your health matters. How you treat your body is going to determine how your body is going to treat you. Your physicality, getting in control of your physical fitness and pushing that to higher and higher limits is a major, major cheat code when it comes to the other things in life that matter. And so I want to encourage you today, maybe you are crushing it in that area, keep crushing it. Way to go. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure you would echo almost everything that I've said to you today about the benefits of that. But for everybody else who wants who wants the 6-pack, but instead you got the beer keg, right? You're dreaming of that summertime swimsuit body, but you've convinced yourself it's still the dead of winter and you have time. Like for you today, just start. Okay, I started with a 30-minute walk, an empty stomach cardio before I ate or drank anything, 30-minute brisk walk, not running. If you can move your legs and you can walk, you can start there. And that's where I began that journey. And the habit is more important in the beginning than the intensity. The habit is more important than the intensity. I would rather you walk 30 minutes every day for 30 days than run 4 miles tomorrow and then not again for 2 weeks because you feel like death, right? Okay, so sustainability is key. If you can't do it forever, then it's eventually going to fail. And why would we build something knowing it's going to fail? So we want to build on that, right? Today, I'm going to give you my little habit here real quick. Hopefully this will help you. Okay, so every day I get up, I walk 2 miles with Jess. That's the first thing I do. The next thing I do is I road bike 15 miles. Okay, it takes me a little less than an hour most days, just depends on the wind. So I'm going fast, but I'm not going like, Tour de France fast. And so between those two things, the road biking burns about 1,000 calories in that hour. The walking is only about 250. So I've got an active 1,250 calorie burn by like 10 a.m. in the morning, right? Then 4 days a week, I'm going to strength train. 3 days a week, I do not strength train. And that's physically what I do there. Now, I also do my blood levels pretty regularly, like every 6 months. I do take goo gobs of supplements. I don't know what they are. You can ask Jess. I just take the little tub of the pills that she gives me, right? Like that's a mystery to me. I'm just trusting her. Hopefully I don't get roofied one day here by her. You never know with her these days, and so I do a lot of supplementing there. I do a little bit of hormone balancing. That's been super, super helpful. If you are really active, now that's not going to help you if you're sitting on the couch eating whatever you want. It's not going to help you at all. But if you're really, really active and you're just looking like to make those last like optimized tweaks, that was a game changer for me. Okay. And then in terms of diet, like I don't eat amazingly well, y'all, but I have a rhythm that works for me. I basically go to McDonald's every morning. I actually ride my road bike to McDonald's, 7.5 out. I eat my breakfast at McDonald's, ride 7.5 back. That's the R-rated version. Okay. Type McDonald's for the win. Okay. Type McDonald's, hashtag McDonald's fit, hashtag McFlurry, right? So I generally eat McDonald's every morning for breakfast. And then I will have a meal replacement shake for one of the meals. Okay. And then I'll eat a meal like whatever I want. And so it sounds like, well, you have two meals, whatever you want. Yeah, but the McDonald's is not like the best quality food, if we want to call it. Okay. But it's actually not like horrifically calorie high, at least what I eat there. Right. Okay. So I can actually get between the McDonald's and the meal replacement shake, I'm only at about 1,300 calories for the day. Right. So if I eat a meal like whatever I want, like 1,200, 1,400 calorie meal, that's like a pretty big meal. Right. I'm still sub 3,000 calories. If I'm burning 1,250 plus the strength training, it's like 1,500. That's going to keep me in a really, really lean, optimized state. Right. And so look, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not intermittent fasting. I'm not only eating for 3-hour window in the day. I don't only eat meat. I don't only eat no carbs. I don't do these crazy unsustainable things. I would do 2 workouts a day every day for 75 days in a row, plus I don't do any of those things. Why? Because they're not sustainable. You can't do that forever. If you can't do it forever, it's going to fail. And why would we want to put time and effort and energy into something that's going to fail? It doesn't make any sense, right? And so what I found through some trial and error and through earning it, not cheating it, but earning it over a period of years, is I found rhythms that worked for me. I found rhythms that worked for me where I got the results that I wanted in a healthy, sustainable way. And I had the maximum quality of life around that, where it didn't feel like it was taking from me. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything there. And learning, all of those things balance, moderation, trial and error, failing and learning from the failure, learning how to how to evaluate progress, like all those things, being disciplined to stay on a pathway for some period of time. Every one of those things is good. It's good for you, strengthens your resolve and character as a person, which helps you in other areas of your life, right? Like that's the deal. People who struggle to get their fitness under control generally are people who are struggling in these other areas. They're struggling with self-discipline. They're struggling with self-worth. They're struggling with clarity of their vision. They're struggling with belief in themselves. They're struggling with their self-image. They're right. And that's why they struggle to consistently invest in themselves, consistently give themselves high value, consistently set themselves apart. That's why, right? And so 40 lessons I'm learning in my 40s is your health matters. You got to treat your body right. And if you do it right, what I found from my friends that are in their late 40s, shout out to all you real winners, and even friends that I have now that are in their 50s and into their 60s who have made health a priority. I look at their lives, the quality of their lives, the way that they look, the success they have in the other areas, how they feel, their energy levels. And I look at that and say, I'm on the right track, right? I have friends that are 62, 63, and you would think they were like 48, 49. And then I have friends that are 40 that look like they're 60, right? We all know these people. And that's a byproduct of how we treat our health. So 40 things I wish I'm learning in my 40s. Number 2, getting super fit will multiply my creativity, productivity, and prosperity considerably. And so I just want to encourage you, start where you are with what you have. You don't need to eat the whole elephant today. You take one bite at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time, one win at a time. So today, let's start your winning streak. Today, get out and do that 30-minute walk. Put in a pair of headphones, listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast, return some texts, do some emails, but just get out there and move. Get out there and move. And today, let's just take one meal and make a better choice with that one meal than we would have made before. Okay? And when we start doing these things, which are very, very simple, very, very easy to do, we start getting really, really incredible results over time. And that makes us want to do it more. It shows us that our sacrifices are paying off. It teaches us how life works. When I do the right things consistently over time, I improve. And as I improve, I enjoy my life more. I get more value out of life. So, hey, guys, listen, I hope this helped you. And can you do a couple of things for me? Guys, listen, there are some really, really pretty profound truths that I'm going to be sharing with you in this series, the 40 things I'm learning in my 40s. Super profound, absolutely life-changing, game-changing for me, stuff that I've never heard verbalized before. I'm super excited to share it with you. Can you do me a couple of favors if A, you found this valuable, or B, you're interested in hearing some of the ones that are coming up? Can you do me a favor and share this? That would mean the world to me. Just punch that share button, share it to a group, share it to some friends, share it on your page. But the more people that can see that, the more people that can get impacted by it. Thank you so much for doing that. Really quickly, one other thing. Many of you know I have a brand new book coming out, 12 Words That Change Everything. This is a game changer. Guys, listen, this book was 5 years in the making. But I had to rewrite it twice because I lost it the first time after the first manuscript was done, just got totally erased. It is a labor of love, and it is the single best, most powerful and profound work that I've ever put together. And we are building a launch team. We're building a launch team to help us launch that book and make sure that we get back to the top of the best sellers list so that people know about the book. People can get that information. All you need to do, if you're not on the launch team, it's free to be a part of it. All you need to do is there's a QR code up in the left-hand corner. You just scan that with your phone camera, and it will take you right to register to be a part of it. And there's all sorts of cool stuff you're going to get. You're going to get a bunch of early access, a bunch of bonus content. We're going to be interacting a bunch here in the coming weeks as we prepare for that launch. And it's going to be an absolute a behind-the-scenes look at how to write and launch a best-selling book. It's going to be awesome. So if you have any aspirations to be an author in any way, I'd invite you to be a part of that. It's a free behind-the-scenes look that's pretty rare to get, and I'm inviting you to do that. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope and pray that this has encouraged you today, to remember who you are and to remember what you're worth. And you are valuable beyond measure. You are valuable beyond measure. You are great on the inside, and the world needs the gifts that you have to be let out and optimized for the whole world to see. So stop doubting on yourself. Go get invested in you. Talk to you soon.